the Boston Celtics make a very sneaky move. The NBA draft is only a couple weeks away, and there are still some workouts being held, and the Boston Celtics recently held a workout for guard Chaz Lanier. Chaz Lanier was one of the best scorers in college basketball last season, one of the best shooting the three ball as well. This is a very sneaky move for the Boston Celtics because he is an older guy, and this kind of came a little bit out of nowhere. So we're going to get into talking about some Chaz Lanier. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video here on Celtics Digest. I am Patrick Billings, and before we get into anything with this video, guys, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. A lot of you guys watching the videos are not subscribed to the channel. Come on, guys. Let's hit that subscribe button if you're loving the content that we're dropping here. Bruce, Nick, and I dropping so many videos every single day on the Boston Celtics, whether it's about any trades going on with the Boston Celtics or we got some draft prospects for you guys. And everyone loves the NBA draft because there's a lot of things that could come from it, and especially with the Boston Celtics this year with a lot of things going on behind the scenes. I think it's the perfect time to talk about the draft and see who the Boston Celtics may draft. And with that being said, let's get right into the video. And of course, like I said, we are talking about Chaz Lanier. This is a very sneaky move by the Boston Celtics, as hasn't been a lot of talk about who the Boston Celtics are going to work out. They worked out a couple of guys that ended up going back to college, so there wasn't a lot of options. We kind of had a guy like Javon Small, who's projected to get drafted, and a guy that we talked about recently as well in Cedric Coward. But now we're talking Chaz Lanier, as he just worked out with the Celtics about yesterday, I believe it was. So if you don't know a little bit about Chaz Lanier, let's get right into that. So let's look at his draft combine. He had a couple of his measurements here, measuring with no shoes, just under 6'4", probably with shoes on about 6'5", with a 6'9" wingspan, with about an 8'5" standing reach. And he did end up having the fourth highest vertical with 39 inches. So he is an athletic guy. As you can see in the picture, he's a pretty built guy as well. And his shooting drills absolutely killed in the shooting drills. If we look here by Jonathan Givony, the final best shooters at the NBA Combine drills, aggregate of all shots, Mark Sears was scorching, of course, nothing new, but Chaz Lanier right behind him at 77%. So if we're looking at just the surface level on Chaz Lanier, well, you can tell that he's a great shooter, and it doesn't matter at what level he's shooting at. Mostly it's a three ball, but he does it at a very high level. So let's kind of get into a little bit more on Chaz Lanier. And we look that he had 5 seasons in college basketball, 4 of them being at a school in a lower Division I, and then really turned up in his last year there, averaging just under 20 points per game. But we're going to highlight that Tennessee season this past season, as he did come in and take over in that Dalton Connect role. And he definitely played just like Dalton Connect, and a lot of people think that he shot better than Dalton Connect. So if that's already a sign to you, if you know who Dalton Connect is, then I think you can kind of tell the type of shooter that Chaz Lanier is. And we look at some of his stats here, averaging 18 points a game, having just under 4 rebounds a game, only 1.1 assists, and just under a steal a game. As a guard, you don't really like to see that number at the assists rate there at 1.1 a game, but I think that I kind of got to keep reiterating how good of a shooter he is. We look at him shooting from the field 43% and just under 40% at Tennessee, shooting about the same rate as he was the year before, where he shot 44% and 51% from the field. So he's going to get the ball and he's going to get the rock, and he is going to put it up and make it pretty much every single time he goes down. I think that he is a great catch and shoot shooter as well. His shot is very quick. It can look a little bit unorthodox, but I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if we kind of go through some of his awards at Tennessee here, I'm going to read some off to you. He won the Jerry West Award, which is recognizing the nation's top shooting guard. He was a newcomer of the year, as of course he transferred into Tennessee after those 4 years at Northern Florida. And he was also second team All-SEC. The SEC was the best conference in college basketball this year. They are absolutely no joke. So that 18 points a game stands out even more for Chaz Lanier. He was also a Wooden Award All-American, which is given to these guys that are top 10 selected in the Wooden Award. And he also has the single season 3-point record in Tennessee history with 123 three-pointers made, which is also 6th most in a single season in the SEC. And guys, I mean, this guy is an unbelievable shooter. And if we kind of go down and talk about what else is good with Chaz Lanier, and we have a little bit of a write-up here on his strength that I'll read off for you guys. You can see a little comparison to Chris Duarte and Kent Bazemore. Chris Duarte obviously came in as a little bit of an older guy, just like Chaz Lanier, who is 23 years old. But I do like the Dalton Connect comparison, not just because he went to Tennessee, but he also filled in and played that exact same role for Tennessee. So if we read off some stuff here, he's one of the most efficient and productive scorers in college basketball this past season, standing at 6'4", 200 pounds. He's very physical, compact guard, strength and frame, built for contact, and he's a late bloomer who emerged as being one of the most impactful transfers in the country. He's got that elite shooting ability from behind the arc, like I said, connecting on 44.3% from 3 and 87.2% from the free throw line. I mean, guys, he is a shooter, and he is, of course, NBA ready when it comes to strength and experience. Being 23 years old, physically mature, I mean, he can handle the contact on drives like we saw in the picture of him. He is a big body down low if he needs it. And, I mean, he's got some good body control. He's a smart cutter who can move off the ball well. And, like I said, he's a great catch-and-shoot guy from the three-point line, which is something that the Celtics really, really do like. And, I mean, there could be a knock on him just because he is a shooter, but we saw a guy that the Celtics took in the undrafted process of the draft being Sam Hauser. But, of course, Chaz Lanier did a lot more at Tennessee than Sam Hauser was doing at Virginia and Marquette. So I think that you kind of get a little discouraged a little bit just because he is a shooter, but I think that he is a good plug-in and play guy for the Boston Celtics, as he is a little bit older, so he is mature, and he uses his physicality on defense and doesn't shy away from guarding bigger wings, which definitely helps out because I do think he can play a little bit more of a smaller forward just because of how big he is. I think that he could have some troubles when it comes to a little bit of a quicker guard to defend, but of course if there's a slower guard and a bigger guard, he could kind of hold his own just because of his strength. And if we kind of look here at some of his weaknesses, again, an older senior, he'll turn 24 in December, but I think the Boston Celtics are kind of going in the direction of looking for someone to be a little bit of a veteran guy and just kind of fill in and play that role and be ready to play for the NBA. And I think that he's one of those guys, especially with his three-point shooting, I think he's able to do that. He struggled a little bit in the tournament, as it says here, to create good looks, especially against elite defenses like Houston, which was one of the best in the country. But Tennessee really didn't have the best spacing on offense either, and they really did run their offense through Chaz Lanier a lot. They had a great point guard in Sakai Ziegler, so that definitely helps. And the Boston Celtics have a couple of great point guards in Jrue Holiday as of right now and Peyton Pritchard. But again, he is a guard at the end of the day, and he has limited playmaking ability, only at 1.5 assists per game. But again, his decision-making on the pick-and-roll situations need to improve, and, of course, passing vision. But I think that's a lot of players, especially moving up to the NBA level. I think there's a lot of things that you can improve on at that level. But, again, like I said, he has a little bit of trouble guarding bigger guards consistently, and it just keeps on bringing up the age factor. But I think that this is something that won't create too much of a problem just because the Celtics need an older guy on a cheaper contract that is ready to go and play some basketball for them, as Jayson Tatum will be missing a big part of the season. And I think with a lot of moves being made, with the possible movement of Sam Hauser, this could be a sneaky move by the Boston Celtics, and I do like the move bringing him in for a workout, kind of seeing the type of player that he is in all facets of the game, whether it's on the court and off the court. And like I said, he played in a very tough conference in the SEC. It's truly no joke. And averaging 18 points per game, you kind of forget a little bit about being a passer and being able to create more for the offense. But I think you can kind of see the type of player that he would be in the NBA, being a catch-and-shoot guy, someone who could create some spacing and be able to attack the paint. His mid-range shooting is there, but it wasn't really able to be shown at Tennessee just because, like I said, they didn't really have much spacing on their offense. But in the NBA, it is a total different ball game. But I think he's a very interesting prospect, and I think that where he's looking to go in the draft at 32, I definitely think it is a realistic move. I think a lot of teams are moving forward on some veteran guys in college basketball. They've been playing a lot better in the NBA, kind of moving a little bit away from the younger guys, especially in the lottery. I think in the second round is where you kind of really go to look for some of these guys. And with someone who showed as much talent as he did in Tennessee at a really big role as well in the offense, I think that this could be a really sneaky move for the Boston Celtics. But guys, let me know what you think down in the comments below. I think that Chaz Lanier is a very interesting prospect. His shooting is there, and is there something that fits with the Boston Celtics, especially with a lot of moves that are going to be made in the offseason? And if there's anyone else that you want to see in a couple of our videos for draft prospects that you think would fit perfectly with the Boston Celtics, let us know in the comments down below, guys. But with that being said, thank you for watching the video, and go Boston Celtics. See you guys in the next one.